Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. My name is John, the career coach. Welcome to yet another podcast. I'm so excited about today's podcast. With me, I have the Mwenesi Musalia. Thank you very much for agreeing to come and do this podcast. Karibu sana.
It's such a pleasure, Joanne. Thank you so much for having me. And I like the way you said the Mwenesi. I'm like, wow, it makes it look like I'm a entity.
Yeah. So today we are going to be talking about turning your purpose into passion, and I thought Mwenesi would be in the best position to come and for us to discuss this topic because he just launched an app, and I'm really excited first of all to hear about the app and just encourage people on how they can turn their passions into profit, because there's this notion that if you love something and the thing that is the fire in your belly, most people don't pursue that if it's not making any money. So how then can you turn your purpose into passion? But first of all, can you tell us about the app?
Absolutely. John, so the app was born out of several ideas. It's born out of the work that I was doing in the communities here in Nairobi, but also based on the work that I do as a trainer and image consultant.
Right.
A lot of my work centers around personal branding and personal development. And what I've always believed and spoken about over the years is that everybody has inherent gifts and talents that can be beneficial to themselves.
Right.
It's not about school. It's not about some technical ability that you have to go and learn. It's really about what is it that you truly care about and why.
Right.
And I've always advocated for that in not just in trainings, but in some of the talks and videos that I've had. And so because I'm very passionate about this, I thought, how many people are there who believe that within themselves they have the ability to be a value creating entity?
Right.
We've been conditioned to think about, I need to go get a job.
Yeah.
I need to go get employed.
Right.
But we've never thought about, few people. There are few people, and we only think about me, what I'm good at and what I'm capable of, what my talents are, what my skills are, when everything else is not available.
Right.
So whenever you go on the job hunt and then you don't find a job, that's when people now look within and they start to ask themselves, okay, what can I do?
Yeah.
And for me, this app is about that within. Instead of thinking, okay, can I go get a job so that I can earn money from myself? What am I good at and what am I capable of doing? And how can I leverage the power of technology to allow me to get access to jobs? And that's why we developed the Kazi app over the last 22 months. Right.
And let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that's where we always get it wrong, that you're thinking about what the fire in your belly is first before now thinking about the work. Because I find this question, I'm asked this question a lot in my inbox: which degree is marketable nowadays? So someone is asking, which degree is marketable, so that they do that degree, as opposed to asking, what do I love to do? And, subsequently, which degree should I do that's in line with my, my strengths, my skills, and my passions? Where did we drop the ball?
I think everything has changed, Joanne. Everything, when you look at how we transport ourselves, how we cook, how we clean, so many things have changed. What we listen to, our media, everything has changed over the last 100 years. The only thing that has remained stagnant in the last century is education, and that has to change, because the education system that we've had, the one where it's the classic: go to school, acquire a bunch of knowledge, and then hopefully someone somewhere will acknowledge the knowledge that you have and then use you to apply the knowledge for their benefit. All right. And so school has always put us in the position where we need to go learn or pick up some knowledge that will then be transferred in a job situation. We've gone to school for employment. So we've been conditioned to think about going to school to be employed.
Right.
So with the advent of technology, the internet, when I mean, growing up, I'm not going to give away my age, but we had libraries. In order for us to acquire knowledge, we needed to go to the library, and there was a systematic way that we needed to argue and create value. But now, the internet has changed the game completely. Growing up, I didn't go to school with Google. We had to go look for records and documents and things. But right now, you can literally do anything on earth via the internet. And that in itself should create enormous opportunity for us. But internet aside, and how education is structured aside, the conditioning of looking for employment has also made us fixate on this thing called bills, paying bills. We have become almost slaves to, if I don't have a way to pay my bills, then that's it. As opposed to, what am I good at and what value can I exchange? So that basic requirements like food, shelter, clothing, transportation, these are just things that you do to find your purpose in life. And that's why you'll find a lot of people who are employed because they're there to pay bills, not because it's their purpose. So we're taking it, we're trying to look at the gig economy, because that's essentially what this is. Gig work is not permanent, or it's not structured. It's as and when the job is there, and as and when someone requires that service. And if you are in the right place at the right time, because what is luck, Joanne? Luck is where opportunity meets preparation. So if you are prepared, if you are prepared with your skill, it's now just a question of where the opportunities. And that's what we've tried to do. We're trying to make everybody lucky.
Right. And before we get to the app, because I know we're going to spend a considerable amount of time on the app.
Sure.
Let's talk about people who keep saying that I need a degree, to get a job. I think that's a lie. But can we discuss that a little bit? Because there are so many people who feel their lives are over because they didn't go to school. They don't have a degree.
Joanne, I will use myself as an example. I have 2 degrees.
Okay.
I have an LLB and an LLM. I am, for all intents and purposes, I am a qualified mergers and acquisitions lawyer.
All right.
From a school perspective.
Okay.
My LLB, which is a bachelor's degree in law, and my LLM in contract law, which is a master's degree in law. I have never worked as a lawyer or in any legal practice in my life, but I have been employed all the way to the C-suite. I have been a country director. I have been a CEO. I have been a manager. I have been head of business development, distribution, sales and marketing. I have run my own public relations firm. I have run my own training firm, and now we're going into this business. I have invested in several businesses sitting here, because the degree is just a way to show that you can persevere through something.
Right.
It really honestly doesn't matter right now, especially in this day and age of connectivity and access to information, what it is that you study. And many parents who grew up pre-internet will hate me for saying this, but in this day and age, your degree, honestly, it means nothing. All right? Unless you are going to specialize in something. And for me, why PhDs, or in the current, in the notion of having a doctorate, would probably be the ones that would be considered important, is because you have dedicated your life to this path. If you're dedicating your life to a certain path and you're using the degree to validate that path, then I'm all for it. But I've always said that a degree is just a tool. The same way this microphone is a tool, the same way a laptop is a tool, the same way your cell phone is a tool, the same way cars, clothes. A degree is just but one of the things that can assist you progress in life. It's not the be all and the end all that we've been made to think that it is.
Right. And even as an employer, because I'm sure you've employed people.
Yes.
And you know that when someone comes for the interview, do you really care, like what they've done, as opposed to like what they can do with themselves at that particular moment, and for the for the job that you want them to? Of course, like the questions normally revolve around, do you have the skills that I need, more than like the degree that they have, right?
And this now speaks, Joanne, to our educators, the institutions that are responsible for delivering the kind of skills that we require. They have to get with the program. They have to get with the program, because as it is, we end up having to do training on the job. Companies are investing so much effort and money to train people to get to the level that they need them to be to deliver the value that they require. And where they are supposed to get that training is in school. And so the school thing, it's like, okay, what was the point of all of that? And so I think we need to move to a situation. I'll use the example of an American state called Detroit. In Detroit, the automotive industry was the one that was responsible for, in the 50s, in the 30s, 40s, post-depression, 1940s all the way to the maybe 1970s, was responsible for the boom of America. Ford and some of these other big car companies literally contributed employment. So a lot of the time, the universities and the high schools and the institutions of learning in that area were all focused to facilitating employees for those departments and for those jobs. So Ford would deliberately go and say, look, we're giving a grant to Michigan University for 200 million, but we want the following degrees done, because we want these people trained in the following way, because the minute you graduate like this with that degree, you're going straight into something that will give you an income, and so that there we have an example of industry driving the requirements. If industry is detached from education,
that's it.
If industry and education and the educational institutions are not in sync. And I grew, I spent almost 10 years in South Africa. A lot of you go to university, a lot of our orientation weeks were all industry, so that you're not going in there guessing. Industry is such a big part of your degree. By the time I was leaving, and part of the reason why I couldn't practice was because I didn't have the right papers for the South African government. But if I was South African, Joanne, today I would have been a lawyer with 16 years experience, because I had 7 to 10 options of law firms where I actually interned. I had, but from first year, you kind of already know where you will end up if you do certain things. So I think the disconnect between industry and education is something that needs to be addressed.
It is, and it's a big one, because what normally happens, you can put out, I'm just speaking as a recruiter, you can put out like a job post, and thousands of people apply, but the ones that you shortlist are like just 50.
Yes.
Because like that disconnect is so big. I think the education system, they've just refused to upgrade. And I think what is going to happen is the online degrees are going now probably to overtake our traditional universities, so that then you're going and specializing on something specific. Yes. So let's talk about the app. I'm so excited to talk about the app. Tell us about what's Kazi, and how do we get downloading, and what's the impact? Tell us about that.
Super. So Kazi is a Swahili word for work, as you know, and we got the idea back in 2019 when we were working. I was working as the CEO of a foundation. That was our primary job, was to work in informal settlements in Nairobi to give youth access to income generating opportunities. So as a foundation, we would go into certain communities. We would give, if you were a group, and we were working with really marginalized groups, the people that no one wanted to work with, people who are reformed prostitutes, reformed criminals, reformed drug users, drug dealers, that level of society that nobody wants to touch. And we were doing that work. To give, so we look at you and your group, and you as a group would come and say, okay, we like to do A, B, C, D. We can braid hair, we can entertain, we can wash cars, we can whatever it is. So whatever it is that you liked to do, we would then facilitate the tools and the education, the tools and the training for you. So if you were really good at washing cars and you just needed a boost, we would give that group a spray pump, a water tank, and now some of the cleaning materials for a car wash. And then we would say, okay, this is our seed investment in you. And then we try and monitor how best you progress. The foundation that I worked for is called the Jonathan Jackson Foundation. Amazing guy. He's an entrepreneur and a real estate guy, and this was something that he wanted to do to give back to the community. So I ran that foundation, and in the process, I understood that people have things that they can do. They're passionate about certain things. There were women there who were reformed prostitutes who wanted to, do makeup, who wanted to just have, if you just get me, nikiwa tu na salon yangu, if I just have my salon, if I just have a blow dryer, if I just have a hair dryer, if I just have this, a sink, whatever, I'll be good. There were some who were passionate about cooking, so they wanted to bake cakes and so many other things. And we realized that it just wasn't about the lack of access to the tools and the training, but also to the clients, because it doesn't matter if you have all the tools and all the training and no one is coming to your salon, no one is coming to your car wash,
no one knows that you exist,
or no one knows that you exist. And so I thought about it, and I said the difference between someone like me and someone like them and people like them is the fact that I have networks. Joanne, I have you in my network. We connected online. We were able to leverage our online presence to meet each other, and that's how we've ended up sitting here. Majority of those people in the informal settlements and at the lower end of the pyramid, they do have access to technology and basic cell phones and things like that, but how to make the most of it so that they themselves can use whatever it is that they're good at to market themselves, to market and promote. If I for example wash cars, and we know how car washing, anybody can wash a car. If you're a security guard, if you're whatever, if you have the right tools, you will be able to do it. So if I'm able to document myself washing a car, everyone has, all the phones nowadays have have cameras and they have microphones. I can record myself, post a story about me washing a car. You see, the traditional social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and the rest have focused on entertainment, which is okay. So where entertainers, artists, musicians, comedians have benefited is from these traditional social media platforms. But and also businesses where you have a business, you sell clothes, you sell products. But services has been missing. The ability to do a service. I can wash a car. I can look after an M-Pesa shop. I can wash dishes. I can mount a TV. I can fix a toilet. I can clean a garden. I can landscape a garden. There are people who can do things, but the ability for them to now promote themselves has not been there. And so we thought, how can we help these people put themselves out there? Okay, and so Kazi is something that I started developing together with a group that I was we were training and doing some personal development for the IT industry, and this group of software engineers called the B Hub said to me, look, whatever it is that you think of building, we'll help you build it. And I sat with the CEO, who is now a partner and part of Kazi. We're the co-founders. I sat with him, Granville, and he said, yeah, we'll build this thing. Let's work together. I told him, look, I don't have money. I don't have money, and I know that building apps is expensive. So you do this. You come in as a partner. Let's figure this thing out. Okay. I know we will have running costs as we go along, and we will scrape, we will borrow, we will try, and we need to pay people. We can't just get value for free. And so since December 2019, we've been building this thing. And let me tell you, Joanne, building an app is not easy. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the faint-hearted. That any small feature that changes on WhatsApp or Instagram, do you know how long it takes to just change a feature in the back end? It takes weeks of coding, weeks of testing, because everything affects everything. So if we find, okay, we've tested it and the user experience was not so good here, but it was good here, so we need to change this feature. Just changing that feature can take maybe 2 weeks of coding, and then 2 weeks of testing, and then now we have to put it to the market. Then the market will be like, okay, maybe, and then it doesn't really work in the way that you wanted. Now you go back, and as you fix and change and tweak and fix and change and tweak, you're spending time, spending money, spending effort, and we got we thought, because we launched in December 2019 before COVID, we looked at our capacity from our own businesses and said, do we have enough money to sustain this? Because we realized that trust was a big factor. And trust is where I think we have a unique selling point, because we invested heavily, not just in the technology of the application, but also in the back end of the vetting of these people who will be coming onto the platform. So there's a lot of work that went into the vetting, because this thing, our gig economy, not just in Kenya but in Africa, is based on trust and referral.
Right.
If you know someone who is really good at makeup,
Yeah.
you will say, hey, I know Rachel.
Yes.
Tell Rachel to come because you know Rachel and you trust Rachel, and
Yeah.
because I trust you, Joanne, if you recommend Rachel to me for
That's
my
it.
wedding, that's it. I
Yeah.
don't have to ask for Rachel's credentials. I don't have to ask for her CV, how many
Yeah.
people she has marketed,
Yeah.
how many people she has done makeup for. Just because I trust you and the referral that we have between us,
Yes.
I'll go with Rachel.
Yeah.
If she does a good job, I will refer her.
Yes.
If she does a bad job, that will be the end of the relationship.
Yeah.
If she does a horrible job, I will tell her off and I will tell
Tell
you
me.
off.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
So that's how it's currently working.
Yes.
And so we thought, okay, we're not trying to create anything new. People are still getting gigs. In our economy, we call them vibarua or kibarua.
Yeah.
People are still doing that.
Yeah.
But there's no visibility, there's no accountability, and there's no protection.
Yeah.
If I call Rachel for a job and she doesn't, and then I don't pay her, for example, who does she run to?
Right.
If I call Rachel for a job and she doesn't do a good job, who do I run to? Where's the accountability? Where's
Yeah.
the transparency?
Yeah.
And so that's all we're doing, is just
Okay.
creating a platform where clients and gig workers can interact.
Okay.
And then together, whatever it is that they want to sort out amongst themselves, that's up to them. We control none of the ecosystem between the client and the worker. Once
right.
you guys have met, all we're doing is we have visibility and a record of your transaction.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for someone who's never heard of the app, like how do they go about it? So like maybe I'm a makeup artist, for example,
Yeah.
and I want to create a profile. How do I go about it?
Excellent. So the application is a two-in-one mobile application.
Alright.
Currently, we're only available on Play Store, Google, Android. But God willing, we will hopefully get some money and continue development into
Okay.
iOS as well as USSD, because we know that smartphones are not fully accessible. So we're looking for a solution that will allow us to also develop a way for people who don't have smartphones.
Okay, but can I go like in a cyber
Sure.
and upload my profile?
Yes, so
Okay.
this is one of the things that we're actively working on, because everything right now is Android based.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I can't go to the cyber.
You cannot go to the cyber for now.
Alright. Okay.
But we're moving that into development as early as now. We've already started doing that, because we realize that especially for clients, you don't necessarily need an application as such, to access these workers. But for the workers, they definitely need an application.
Okay.
So when we started like the taxi or cab hailing companies, where the driver has a version of the application,
Okay.
and then the client has a version of the application. So we started off in a very similar way. There's the client application called Kazi Request a Service. It's a blue icon on Google Play Store. And then there's the worker. If you want to register as a gig worker, it's called Kazi Worker. So it's a black icon, a K icon on Google Play Store. And so these two apps talk to each other. So you can imagine how much development went into developing this thing where two applications are talking to each other.
Yeah.
Even now, we're still developing.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop,
Yeah.
Joanne.
Yeah.
So on the client side, if you're a client, you don't have to do much. You just need a name and a username and your password, and you're in. Once you're in, it gives you it's almost like a Google Map description of how many workers are in your area, because we geolocate.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So it's the person nearest to me.
Nearest to you. If there's no one nearest to you, if you request makeup artist and you're in Nairobi, but the nearest makeup artist is in Kajiado, that's all we've got.
Okay.
Because the strength of this app will be on the people who sign on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the more people sign on, the more options that will be available.
Yeah.
So that's on the client side, and then you can search for it the same way you would search on an e-commerce platform, for food or whatever. You can search for any service that you want inside there, depending on what you require.
Yeah.
On the worker side, there's a bit more of a requirement, because these people are the ones who will be providing the service, and so for them, they need to register with a bit more detail. It's not just a username and a password. We need some more information so that the trust element can be maintained, the accountability element can be maintained. So at the moment, the requirements when you go to register as a Kazi worker on the Kazi Worker app, you need to upload your name, your telephone number, obviously, because some transactions will happen via mobile money, your ID number, so that in case of anything, we can then, follow up with the authorities. God forbid something does happen. If you have a certificate of good conduct, it will also really help, because, again, we're dealing with trust here. And then what we've also done is we've placed a small requirement that you upload two referees. One for your character, a character reference, and we prefer that this is a family member, and one for your work. If you've ever worked for anybody or done any kind of job, upload their details, so that at least we can just check with them that yes, actually you are who you say you are. And it's not that we will make any of this data available to anybody. All right, we have very strict. We're strongly guided by data protection laws. We have a very robust data protection law here in the country, and we are fully compliant with international data protection protocols. That data will not be available to anybody. It is strictly for the purposes of ensuring that in the event that a reference needs to be made to certain authorities, then we can actually follow up accordingly. So that data is for you. So once we have that data, almost immediately, depending on how much backlog we have of people who have downloaded, someone will call you from Kazi. And one of the things that we want to do is publicize our call center number. Our call center will call you, identify themselves as working with Kazi, and then ask you certain questions. The call doesn't take more than 2 minutes. It's just to check, is this your name? Is this your ID? Give us, one thing that you probably mentioned, because in the registration, you might have put something in your bio and said, I'm Joanne, I'm passionate about training people. So we'll ask you something about your bio just to check that actually it's you, Then once we finish the vetting, we switch you on. And once you're on, now you can be found by the clients. So once a client, now it's almost the same way you would request for an Uber. You just go onto the app and type in the service that you want. The profiles of the people that are available will be there, and then you can scroll through the profiles, select the person that you want, start to engage them. If they delay, then we have a mechanism that allows for the same request that you have. And as a client, we've given you the ability to, we've made it very easy, because something like WhatsApp is easy to use. So we've modeled it around that. You can take a picture, you can even take a voice note, whatever instruction you want to give about, I have dishes that need to be washed in Kilimani, give the address, whatever, take a picture of it. That request will then go out to the rest of the people in that skills category. So the skills category that you searched for, if you find someone's profile that you think is good and is online and is in the fits with all the criteria that you're looking for, and you engage them and you start chatting, good for you. But we want to give clients as much options as possible. So you can say, you can set on your client app, broadcast this request to 20 other workers in the area, or broadcast it to 50, or broadcast it to 100. Because what will then end up happening is people will start bidding for that job. And then now you have an option.
So let's talk about now. We've talked about the worker, like me. If I'm a makeup artist and I want to create a profile.
Correct.
I think that's clear. So now let's talk about the client.
Yes.
So I want an electrician, for example.
Correct.
So how do I go about it?
So you go into once you've registered your username and password into the Kazi Request a Service app, the blue one, you now have access to the universe of workers. Okay. There's a small search button there. You can go into the search button, type the service or the skill that best fits your thing. So for you, in this case, it would be electrician. All right. And you see, one of the things that we realized as we were developing, we were trying to think a lot on behalf of the electrician. Electrician can be anything from lights, sockets, appliances. It's too wide. We actually looked at how many possible service categories there are. Join there are 23,000 service categories. Plumbing can go up to 700 subcategories of plumbing.
Because it's kitchen.
There's so much. There's faucet. It's so wide. So we've tried to give at least as many basic categories, and then now it's between you and the plumber to say, okay, Mr. Electrician, what are you good at? And you will look in their bio, and this is, I think, where now someone like you would be able to help people who are going into the app best classify what they're good at. Because if you just put electrician,
there are so many.
Yeah. So how specific can you get? And this is something that we have no control over at this time. But hopefully the more people sign on, we will be able to educate and empower the workers who are posting their profile, so that when you go into your profile, that profile should be able to give me a very quick snapshot description of what exactly it is that you can do.
Yeah. In the same way, because you see, it's like doing a CV. If your CV is shoddy and you're not direct and you're not particular about what you're looking for, I'm going to throw it away.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you go on the app and you're not like very particular about electrician, but this is my particular skill, no one is going to get you.
Correct. And it will be you'll be giving the clients a lot of work, and the one who is very specific and says
is the one who gets,
is the one who will get, because there'll be an electrician who says, I only fix irons, microwaves and sockets only. That's what I do. So if you call me now for chandeliers and electrical wiring in houses, that's not me. So we are hoping that, you see, this is not just an application, Joanne. This is an ecosystem. There'll be a lot. In fact, for us, our marketing will be primarily education, because we want to educate these workers to the best of our abilities to help them help themselves. And
is it okay? So 2 questions. The first one is it in Kenya only? Then the second question is it only vibarua or accountant?
Absolutely, anybody can do it. To answer your second question, to answer your first question, for now it's in Kenya only, and we're using Kenya as the platform because, number one, we're here, we're Kenyans. This is a fully Kenyan-owned, Kenyan-developed. Every single member of the team is Kenyan, and we're hoping we can tell a good story going forward. We actually won an award in September, actually.
I think I saw that.
MTN Business Africa App of the Year award. So for now it's Kenya, but this is an application that has global capacity, especially for countries that are considered developing or second-tier developed nations, where we know that many people don't have formal skills that they can use and leverage.
So guys, at this particular moment, you want to pause, go to your Android phone, download the Kazi app. This is such a perfect opportunity for you to ensure that in January, January is not in January. Because of course, we're talking about turning your purpose into your passion into profit, and this is such an amazing platform that can help you with your side gig. Because I think very many people have these side gigs, but they don't know how to find their clients, they don't know how to be found, and you could be the best makeup artist in the world, but if no one knows that you exist, then you're going to remain hidden in the dark. So what Kazi app does is that it just gives you this platform where people can be able to find you, right? So what else do you want to tell us about turning about the app?
About the app. So our big priority now, so we've been developing since 2019. We launched on Google Play Store in November 2020. Since then, we've had quite a few people who've downloaded with almost nil marketing, Joanne. We just posted it on Google Play Store and ran 1 or 2 Google ads just to see whether people would be interested. People are hungry, Joanne. People want side gigs. People want opportunity, extra money. So this is something that can help you, even if you're employed, even if you're somewhere, you can just have the app there just in case someone wants a service. So since November 2020, we've done almost no marketing. So what our goal is now going forward is we're hoping and praying that we can now start to really sensitize clients about this, potential clients, anybody and everybody who's looking for a service. Please check the app out. Please use it. We're open to feedback, criticism. This is not, and the most important thing here, Joanne, is we're not making money from this. Our goal is not to make money. Our goal is to empower and to strengthen, because the sustainability of this app will be in partnerships. Our goal is to secure partnerships with as many people as possible. In February of this year, we partnered with Ajira, Ministry of ICT, through KEPSA. And we signed a memorandum of understanding to assist the existing database of workers who are there to work with us. But you see, the level of development then in February and the level of development now is miles apart. Yeah. So right now, we just launched this last Thursday. We launched the app now to the public, for the public to now test, give us feedback, give us opinion, see what else you want, what other features. This application is going to be driven by users. Whatever the users want, we will provide to the best of our abilities. But our priority right now is marketing, education, getting the word out there. If you know a friend who knows a friend who is looking for some work, try the app. I mean, there's nothing to lose. I mean, other than data on your, other than some little memory on your phone.
Okay, and also Mwenesi, has there been, or rather, like in terms of like percentage, the successful placement?
So yes, so actually in terms of testing, we did 147 transactions between November and March of this year. November last year, since we launched, and March of this year, when we now decided to change our model, because our model was commission-based, Joanne. Okay. When we started off, we said we want to be involved in the transactions between workers and clients, because we've spent so much money, so much effort, so much time, so much whatever in building this thing. Let us at least make some money out of it, And so because some of these other applications are commission based, anything that is e-commerce, e-platform is commission based. We set up a similar model, and we completed 147 transactions. We'll be releasing customer testimonials as we go along. In fact, if you go to our YouTube pages, you'll see our customer testimonials. Those are real people who have gotten real jobs. Absolutely. And you see what happens is, if I get a job, I'm going to tell my friend. I'll tell someone who's going to tell a friend. So that's how the word has been spreading. It's been very organic. We've not pushed, we've not tried to whatever. But now, since Thursday, I was actually looking at some statistics on my phone since our dear friend and partner, and that's why I said this is going to be driven by partnerships. We've gotten into a partnership with a very good friend of mine. He's a comedian. His name is Crazy Kena. He's fully against depression, especially for men, because the one thing that men suffer from is mental health issues based on their ability or lack thereof to provide. So he's very passionate about that. He's got something called Comrades for Comrades, and he's got a big platform. And he said, this is the perfect opportunity for me to drive that side of what I want to do. And so we're aligned. So he helped us do the launch. We did a press briefing about 2 days ago, and in that time we've gotten 40 requests from clients. We've never had that much ever, but you see, are there enough people to respond to the request? Are there people who know what the requests are? Because the typical thing is, someone will go into the app and start making a request. Someone will go into the app and think that they're going to get a job immediately. This is going to be a marathon. It's not a sprint. The awareness will only be created by conversations like this, and I'm so grateful that we're having this conversation, Joanne. It will be created by people talking about it, trying it, criticizing it. Let it be a conversation that people will have, because we want, and this is for me a personal issue as well. Not only my affiliation with the informal settlement is not just because I did some work there. My roots are also there. I have family and friends who are still there, who every day I get messages. We are Kenyans. You know how it is, Joanne. Oh, nisaidie, please help me. Can you help me? I need to figure something out. Nimekwama, I'm stuck. So it's for that purpose. Teach a man how. What's the Bible verse?
You need to teach a man how to
fish. Yes.
Not provide.
Absolutely. And so we realized it's not sustainable to keep giving people handouts. Handouts is not what is going to help us. And if I may, we're going into an election period. All right. Majority of the people who are disenfranchised will be the ones who will be used for voter acquisition. Those people who are running for elective office will go and give a handout. Okay, because that's how it works in our democracy. They'll be given a handout, they'll be given a T-shirt, they'll be given a little bit of money, and they'll be told, go vote here. And if you have the ability to stand for yourself and say, you know what, I have a skill, I have a talent. I'm not interested in selling my vote. What I'm interested is knowing how will you secure the electricity that I need for my hair shop?
Yeah.
You tell me about that. Don't start telling me about, here's money for unga, so that we can have an empowered community and an empowered youth who will be able to say, look, we're good as far as marketing ourselves. Give us the platform, the enabling environment as leaders to help us do what we need to do, whether it's taxes, whether it's infrastructure, whether it's energy, whether it's, the big thing, security, which is what a government is supposed to provide. So if you're going to be a leader and you're going to be my representative, create the enabling environment for me. So there's so many angles to this. It's an ecosystem, and we want to play our part as Kazi in making sure that ecosystem is functioning and is robust.
So guys, you've had it all. Again, I would really encourage you to download the app. If you don't have an Android phone, you can actually borrow a phone, make your profile. Nothing is stopping you.
So at the moment, because of security, and you've raised a very important point, Joanne, and that's why I said the sustainability of this is going to be in partnerships. The application relies on 4 critical factors.
All right.
The first factor is, of course, you need an Android phone, an Android enabled phone. The second factor is you need bundles or access to Wi-Fi or internet, right? The third factor is you need to know how to use the app. The fourth factor is the app actually has to work the way it should. So you see, these 4 factors have to work in tandem. We can control the last 2, the education of how to use the app and how strong the app is. That is our job. On the side of having an Android enabled smartphone and on the side of having data, that's where we're seeking partnerships. We're seeking partnerships because people are able to get data bundles for all manner of things, for WhatsApp, for YouTube, for whatever. So our hope and prayer is that we will get partnerships along the way that will say, look, if you are able to say have 10 bob or 5 shillings or 10 shillings a day, then you can have the Kazi bundle, which will allow you to now use the application without the headache of where's my data going to come from, because data connectivity is a big feature of this platform as a worker. And then the first concern about having an Android enabled smartphone, again, is something that we will try and cure with partnerships, because there are initiatives right now that are being run by some of the biggest companies in Kenya and in the world to enable people to pay bit by bit 20 shillings a day, and you will have a smartphone enabled an Android enabled device, and those are the kind of partnerships that we are also seeking as well. We would like for everybody to be connected to the digital universe. The digital universe is now where everything is happening. I mean, growing up in the 90s, Joanne, I can't tell you, if someone who died in the 90s was to be resurrected now,
they'd die again.
They'd die again because this device here, this thing, this is everything. This is my office. This is my payment platform. This is entertainment. This is work. This is everything. Everything happens here. So why can't we also get opportunities through this device? So I want to encourage us to be connected. When cell phones came out, there were ridiculous amounts. And as we go along, partnerships with providers who have the ability to give options for people to do that. That's what we will be seeking as we go forward.
All right. So as a parting shot, Mwenesi, what would you want to tell, especially like guys who they are looking to get additional income, like their side hustles? What is your parting shot? Besides the app, believe in yourself. Know that you have a gift. God did not just put you on this earth for nothing. There's something that you can do. I've everything that I have done and I continue to do is not because of my degree. It's not because of my connections. Yes, for me, I give God all the glory, and I will always do that. But based on what I can control, it is what I care about, and what I care about is people. So all the work that I do, whether it's training, whether it's public relations, whether it's business development, whether it's developing applications like this, all my investment and my work and my involvement is around people and helping people be better. So because I'm passionate about that, I channel my energy towards initiatives that are concerned with that. If you're passionate about hair,
channel your energy towards that, and you
Yeah.
will find that hair has a whole ecosystem. There are people, there's an entire industry and universe just around hair. If you're passionate about lighting,
Yeah.
for example, and light fascinates you, then immerse yourself into that. Nothing stops you from caring deeply about something. And if I can quote Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors on the planet, build a moat around your talent.
Yeah.
Protect your talent.
Yeah.
Nurture your talent. That thing, that driving force inside you, that thing that you truly care about, that's what's going to make it work. That's what's going to open all the doors for you.
Yeah.
And so that's my hope for anybody listening.
All right, I really like that. I forget the exact verse, but there's this verse that says that your gift will make you stand before kings, like not obscure men. So think about what your strengths.
I love that.
Yeah, think about what your strengths, your skills, and your passions are. All of us have been born with a fire in our bellies. Money always follows passion and purpose. So if you can just think about the thing that you're good at, what's the one thing that you can do better than anyone else with the least amount of effort? What's the one thing that gives you high emotion and high devotion? What's the thing, even if you're not being paid, you'd still want to do it. Now, you also want to ask yourself, do you have the education for it, or do you have the training for it? And if not, can you get the training? Can you get connected to people who are doing that thing that you're saying that you love? Because if you tell me you're really passionate about makeup, I want to know, are you connected to other makeup artists? Because these are the people who are going to help you, keep your passion and your, the thing that you love alive. So you need to be, you need to get connected. Then of course the last thing is you need to now make yourself available, and that's why this app, the Kazi app, gives you such a good opportunity to make your skill known to other people. Because remember, you could be the best baker in the world, you could be the best makeup artist in the world, but if no one knows that you exist, if we don't know who you are and what you do, then your passion, the thing that you love, is going to remain hidden in the dark, and you're not going to be able to make money. So thank you very much, Mwenesi. What you guys have done, this app is amazing. I think it's going to be a game changer, not only for the people in Bibarua, but even in recruitment.
Thank you.
Just connecting talent to employers, because also job seekers, there's so many people who are very good at what they do, but they just don't, they don't have the right connection.
Joanne, there's one very, very important point. Sorry, I should have mentioned it.
Okay.
It's a critical point. The app is not just useful for people who are looking for services.
All right.
You yourself, once you've created the Kazi profile,
All
and
right.
you are big on LinkedIn,
Yes.
Joanne,
Yeah.
this Kazi profile is shareable. Okay, that's the other thing that I should have mentioned, and this is a very, very important point.
Okay.
So once you have registered as a worker, it's not about sitting and waiting for the job.
Okay.
You can push your profile to whatever WhatsApp groups, Instagram,
LinkedIn.
Facebook, LinkedIn. Push it wherever it is, because
Okay.
it's not complicated like LinkedIn. Sorry,
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But LinkedIn has its requirements and its
Yeah.
things, which
Yeah.
maybe a normal, just a normal run of the mill person will struggle with. This one is so basic. It is so basic. It's like LinkedIn for amateurs. It is.
Yeah.
There's no effort that goes into it. It's
Yeah.
literally, hi, I am Joanne. I like makeup. Here's a picture of my makeup set, and that's it. It's just a tool that you can use. So when you think about people who go to these, like in shopping malls, you go and you see, I am a driver, and then you've got those notes with the driver's phone number there.
Yes.
If this driver has a Kazi profile and he's in a church group, a WhatsApp church group, and he says, by the way, guys, if anyone needs a driver, here's my profile. You can engage me.
Yeah.
Clicking on that profile will open up the Kazi client, and you can engage him there and then.
Yeah. That's I think that's important to know, that you can also share it. Yes. To other platforms.
Yes.
So guys, that's it. For today. I hope this podcast and video, if you decide to watch the video, has been inspiring. I hope you've been encouraged. I hope you are going to pursue your strengths, your skills, and your passions and your purpose, and that you're going to download the Kazi app. Thank you, and see you next time.